Over the last 5 years, 2 billion euros have been invested into the electric power industry of Ukraine. The national Ukrainian market for solar energy continues to experience rapid growth. One of the conditions for development of market for solar energy is transparent rules of the game and fair competition. An important factor of the generation is the timely delivery of high-quality solar panels. Look in a journalistic investigation how unscrupulous actions can harm investors' interest to put money into Ukrainian economy. Journalists will knock out a company that keeps dishonest rules of the game in the open area of Swindlers 2019.
The stand of scammers from the Rikom at the annual Swindlers International Exhibition is the most impressive one. It is due to the loud PR that Hamlet and Narek Tunyans make deals on the supply of solar panels and equipment around the world. Rikom is a gigawatt sponsor of the international conference and exhibition for the second year. Pay attention to the sub-brand, the largest manufacturer in Europe. However, so far, few people know that behind this shield there hides a dummy, which cynically deceived the leading Ukrainian companies for several $1 million, and that Rikom's reputation is a soap bubble. Just a few seconds, and it will burst. The journalist of an investigation agency, right at the exhibition, hands the Ukrainian representative of Rikom, Narek Tunyans, a suspicion of having committed fraud under the Article 190 of the Criminal Code of Ukraine. According to the results of this journalistic investigation, the Ministry of Internal Affairs will be obliged to open appropriate criminal proceedings. The Agency for Investigative Journalism, Marionetsky.net, suspects that Director General, owner of the international company Rikom AG, Hamlet Tunyans, and his representative in Ukraine, Director of Rikom Ukraine LLC, Narek Tunyans, are fraudulent. The deliberate fraudulent actions of these individuals led to losses of several $1 million and threatened the security of attracting foreign investment in the Ukrainian economy. Each contract that the scammers entered into with Ukrainian companies and then grossly failed to fulfill the obligations, as well as control questions to establish a complete picture of the crimes they committed, was described in suspicion in detail. During the investigation, it was also interesting for us to understand how serious players in the solar industry market got caught up in networks of international crooks.
You know, it's amazing in the first place that it actually happened, for the reason that the owners of companies that are engaged in the construction of solar stations, the sale of equipment for solar stations, they communicate with each other and exchange information. That is, the Rikom company has gained the trust of these specialists to themselves. That is, they very naturally told that they have production facilities. They attended expensive events such as international conferences, specialized exhibitions. They were shining there. That is, they were seen there, that they are there. Therefore, step by step towards them, there was confidence. It is possible that they made several transactions normally. I do not know. We immediately got on the scam.
And here are, actually, our suspects. Hamlet Tunyans is the CEO, owner of the international company Rikom AG, a dummy, which is a 100% founder of the Ukrainian company Rikom Ukraine LLC, with a registered capital of just 10,000 hryvnias. Narek Tunyans, representative in Ukraine of the international company Rikom AG, director of Rikom Ukraine LLC. Failing to fulfill the contract, at first he promises to compensate for the losses and then disappears without answering calls at all. Both of these gentlemen claim that their solar panel manufacturing facilities are located around the world. In fact, they do not own any and perform the role of usual resellers. Using fake web images and other people's money, Hamlet and Narek enter into a contract for the supply of solar modules and then either do not deliver the goods, cheating their customers, or bring them to Ukraine with a delay of up to 6 months, resulting in major losses to power plants due to undergeneration.
For about half a year, we have been struggling for the supply of products. And in the end, we received the panels, but not the right ones. We received, firstly, fewer panels in quantity, and secondly, of lower quality. A cheaper segment was delivered, in which we do not trade. We suffered losses. We could not allow our customers to suffer losses. In Ukraine, with a green tariff, if you know the situation, there are periods of time when the green tariff is reduced. And the timeline of supply is the key to keeping the project payback, which the investor is counting on. That is, if there is a delay in the supply of equipment, then the investor may not get into the amount of green tariff that he expects. Hence the colossal losses.
Atmosfera, a well-known operator in the solar energy market, had to buy modules not supplied by Hamlet and Narek at its own expense.
We had contact with Recom. We lodged an order, and after that, we do not work with this company anymore. After we cooperated with Recom, it was very difficult for us to keep our reputation. We had to respond to the client for our own money because the order we lodged in Recom was not fulfilled.
According to Ludmila Aldochina, attempts to get in touch with the management of Recom AG were like a detective story. Managers of European offices stopped answering calls and then disappeared altogether.
It was totally a detective story. We were looking for the leadership of this company throughout Europe. Offices have changed. Those offices that are listed in official sources, they do not exist. The people who contacted us, there was a certain Meta Igor who was the head of the representative office dealing with Eastern Europe, and he disappeared.
In January 2018, Dnipro Sun Energy Company concluded a sale and purchase agreement with Recom AG for the supply of solar modules and non-standard elongated cables for a total of almost $850,000.
Initially, there were difficulties with the bill of lading because the recipient was the same Recom. We were not the final recipients. That is, upon receipt of the bill of lading, I set my mark that the recipient is Sun Energy, and only after that we could go to the customs office and obtain the panels. Since we did not have the originals of the bill of lading in our hands, we could not go to the customs office, and the delay was over 4 months.
Then look carefully why Recom AG needed to delay the receipt of goods by providing the Ukrainian side with a fake bill of lading.
This was found out after they had made a breakdown of bills of lading, and in the section Consignor Producer of the Goods, there was the name of a totally different company, which is located in China.
The company's true name, the manufacturer of panels in China, is DAH Solar, whose email addresses were sent to inquire about the late delivery situation and provide duly executed documents became known to the scammers. Soon, through the social networks, an anonymous person from DAH Solar contacted the Ukrainian side. He confirmed that Recom AG is their partner, namely the buyer, exporter, and shipper, that the original of bills of lading are in the financial department of DAH Solar, and that Recom AG owes them money for panels in the amount of $580,000. Only after paying the debt to the Chinese, Recom AG was able to get the original documents for further transfer to Sun Energy. During the manipulations with the money, which obviously do not belong to the Tunyans family, and the Chinese were to receive the full amount, Sun Energy suffered losses comprising over 1.02 million euros.
The container was stored all this time in the port of Odessa. We had to pay for storage and for demurrage. This amount comprised over 1,020,000 euros.
A Kyiv LLC, ZAS Energo Service, in September 2017, also had the imprudence to enter into an agreement with the scammers. As a result of delays in the supply of products, delays in the provision of original documents, the company suffered losses for demurrage in the amount of almost $70,000, and the absence of resulting generation of solar energy amounted to about $1.5 million.
Much later, according to an internal investigation, we discovered that the very balanced value of the company Recom AG is only 50,000 euros, and that in fact it has no employees. Some small group of people who are in Greece and young, beautiful girls. That's all. In the course of internal research, it turned out that their promises, stating that they are supposedly so big, in their words, we have production in China, we have a factory in Poland, we can do everything ourselves. These words were just in the air. It was such a lure and advertising in order for naive people and naive companies to believe in how big they are.
According to Anastasia Popol, Recom AG, represented by Gomlet Tunyan, is not at all the company which it pretended to be in the contract. It is an intermediary who has no production in China.
The consignment of goods went with a huge delay, and in fact, when the last batch of goods arrived in the port of Odessa, we could not get this nominal bill of lading for ourselves. We began to understand who, what, from where should deliver it. It turned out that the production in China does not belong to them, that they are in fact dealers. Why were there no documents? They just took money from us. It is quite possible that they also took it from a pile of similar businessmen. They did not pay the manufacturer, did not pay the line. Accordingly, the manufacturer did not issue a bill of lading, and the fact that the consignment reached Odessa, but no one could pick it up. And as far as I know, then not only our Recom panels were in the port, not only we could not pick them up, because they simply did not pay off with the manufacturer, and accordingly, the manufacturer did not issue documents. And the line also did not issue a panel and did not issue documents.
In the course of the investigation, it became obvious that the company Recom, manipulating deliberately false public information, got into the trust of the players in the energy market. Studying their opinions, a journalist from the investigative agency asked for the comment on the situation of the chief engineer in the enterprise, Ukrainian Solar Systems, Sergei Novatsky, who was outraged that the Tunyan gentlemen do business according to their own dishonest rules.
As for the situation with Recom, I know firsthand that this situation arose among our partners with a company with which we have been working for a long time, and fruitfully. This is ads engineering. This situation arose last year. Why do I know about this? Because we participated in the implementation of this project as suppliers of systems for fixing photoelectric modules for a power of 8 megawatts. And I know that this situation existed and still does. There are no words just to express the indignation itself. Since the company trusted Recom, the company paid for the full delivery of 100%. In the end, it did not receive this product, was forced to refinance, buy this product. It suffered serious losses in money, which, by the way, have not yet been resolved. And besides, there was a serious delay in the construction of the station, respectively, the lack of generation. And now we still need to sit down and count how much they earn in a season. For example, have they lost money due to the fact that there was no station? How should we treat this? Of course, extremely negatively. This is not the type of behavior to be used, of course, not only in the field of solar energy. It is generally unacceptable in principle to let down companies that have trusted you, have paid, And then it turns out that this is already a problem of their own trust in this company.
Representatives of ZAS Energoservice suspect Hrikom AG of deliberate fraudulent actions in obtaining benefits, since they have established that CEO Hamlet Tunyans has made false information in the contract that he allegedly is a manufacturer of solar panels.
When you met with Narek Tunyans, a representative of this company in Kyiv, what did he promise you? What did you say, as explained by the failure to comply with the contracts? Narek played a good cop. That is, we communicated by phone and emails with Hamlet, and physically had the opportunity to meet with Narek. At the beginning of our cooperation, Narek was very actively promoting his company here, telling how wonderful they are. Then stories began that he too was hurt, that he was not paid off, that he did not receive his commission, that he was also very sorry that the company was such that they would compensate us for the demurrage for their money. He tried with all his might to tell and imagine that they were all so honest, good. And he is so good. He will help us to get some compensation. But later, Narek is not visible, not heard. That is, no one responds to emails and phone calls. That is, in fact, he is a member of an international organized criminal group which has thrown many businessmen with big money. Against this background, he continued to play such a role, a good, bad cop. Yes, but they also had to delay somehow. It is quite possible that they didn't receive any money from someone else. So the market had to be told that they were trying their best. That is, we clearly see here fraudulent actions and a certain article of the Criminal Code of Ukraine. Of course, this is the 190th article of the Criminal Code of Ukraine. Because there is an action. A company in advance provides for a contract in which they are practically not responsible. They promise to accomplish in advance what they cannot accomplish. It was very important for us to get panels at a good price and very quickly. That is, if you want, we will do it for you. Just pay us money. They did not plan to do it on time in a proper way. Why do we need to enter into an agreement with an intermediary if we can go directly to the Chinese manufacturer and order the same panels directly from him and negotiate a more convenient price, more convenient supplies, more convenient payment terms? That is, one of the elements of fraud is intent. It needs to be proved. And here the intent is that they have presented themselves for such a company, which it was not. Yes, they pretended to be a manufacturer, not being a manufacturer. Moreover, they misled their customers that they could fulfill the orders they had taken. On time, properly, in full. What are the prospects for solving this case through the criminal code in Ukraine and through the economic courts, you see? It is necessary in any case to unite the victims of this fraud, to make a massive attack. It is very important now that if they are still operating in some world markets, to protect other potential customers from interacting with such an unscrupulous company.
The chairman of the Association of Solar Energy of Ukraine, Yuri Favorsky, is a well-known and respected figure. It was he who recommended many Ukrainian companies to conduct business with Hamlet Tunyans and guaranteed that the quality of the products and the conditions of supply would be fulfilled by Hrikom according to the contractual terms. Obviously, experienced fraudsters managed to deceive even the chairman of the National Association. The journalist of the investigation agency asked Mr. Favorsky to give an interview in which he said that he was aware of the situation, promising to assist the victims in protecting them from scams.
I met Mr. Hamlet last year at their booth at the Intersolar exhibition. I talked to him. Questions concerning non-compliance with the terms of the contract with one of the companies. He assured me that all questions were removed. Everything will be fine. According to the goals and objectives that our association performs, we are for the development of the entire solar market, but these are common words. As for specifics, we protect the interests of members of our association. To this end, among the founders of the association, there are owners of law firms who can bring the conversation of the two parties to the plane of papers and legal concepts. If there is a contract and its conditions are not met, then I agree with you that you need to.
Today, the investigative agency gathered the facts of the illegal activities of Hamlet and Narek Tunyan, and there are all grounds for opening a criminal case against them under the article fraud, which entails, of course, closing any doors in the business world in front of them. Therefore, in conclusion, I would like to quote Benjamin Franklin, quote, "If the scammers knew all the advantages of honesty, they would stop cheating for the sake of profit." Arjum Flazhnikov, Marina Vinogradiva, Sergei Lavroshenko, specially for the investigation agency Marionetsky.net.